scientist from Longmont, Colorado, Stephen Webb. And our returning champion, a licensed psychologist from Pocatello, Idaho, Kendra Westerhouse, whose two-day cash winnings total $47,201. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Ken Jennings.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to the show. Jeopardy yesterday almost ended in the dreaded tiebreaker scenario, as our champion, Kendra Westerhouse, had exactly twice the score of her nearest challenger heading into Final Jeopardy. She bet nothing, but she was also the only player who knew the correct response was what is Halley's Comet. So she returns today as a two-game champ to face Stephen and Jason. Good luck to everyone. You look like you're raring to go. Let's find out what categories you're dealing with in the Jeopardy round. We'll start off with landmarks, then the class menagerie on a stamp. From there we go to ACC school history. A decade of number one hits tells a story. You'll name the decade. And finally, serving tea for three. That letter T will appear 3 times in each correct response. Kendra, you begin.
A decade of number one hits tells a story for 200.
Love me do. You've lost that love and feeling. Where did our love go? Stephen.
What are the 1960s?
That's the decade.
ACC school history for 1,000.
The founder of what would be this university petitioned the Pennsylvania State Assembly and got the school started in a log cabin in 1787. Stephen.
What's Pitt?
Right.
ACC school history for 800, please.
The founder of this university willed his South Carolina home and 814 acres to start an agricultural college. Stephen.
What's Clemson?
Yes.
ACC school history for 6.
The answer there is a daily double, just for you, Stephen. We're off to a fast start.
Let's make it a true daily double.
All right, betting it all on ACC school history. In 1926, this southern school enrolled about 650 full-time students, but of all things, a hurricane nearly put it out of business.
What is the University of Miami?
Yes, you have $4,000, just like that.
All right. ACC school history for 400, please.
In 1872, this New York school chose its official colors, pink and green. Its students chose orange in 1890. Stephen.
What's Syracuse?
That's it.
Finish the category for 200, please.
Its website says it opened in 1864 in the South End to educate its city's predominantly Irish Catholic immigrant community. Stephen.
What's Boston College?
You know your ACC school history. That's correct. You ran the category.
Okay. Now I have to pick something. Serving tea for 3 for 600, please.
Sounding like it will hold up to legal scrutiny, this walk is taken daily to keep healthy. Jason.
What's a constitutional?
Yes.
Decade of hits for 400.
Can't help falling in love. It must have been love. How am I supposed to live without you? Jason.
What is the 1970s?
No. Kendra.
What are the 1990s?
That's the decade.
A decade of number one hits 600.
Crazy in love. Promiscuous. It wasn't me. Stephen.
What are the 2010s?
No. Jason.
What are the 2000s?
That's the decade.
Decade for 800.
Call me. I can't go for that. No can do. Baby, don't forget my number. Kendra.
What are the 1980s?
That's right.
A decade of number one hits for 1,000.
Do you think I'm sexy? You're so vain. You ain't seen nothing yet. Stephen.
What are the 1970s?
Now it's time for the 70s, yes.
The class menagerie for 200, please.
Sicilians and newts are members of this animal class. Jason.
What are amphibians?
You got it.
Class menagerie 400.
For their somewhat ursine looks, the microscopic members of the class Eutardigrada are called water these. Jason.
What are bears?
Water bears is right.
Let's do landmarks 200.
The settling of the foundation of this medieval structure caused a slant of about 5.5 degrees by the 20th century. Jason?
What's the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Yep.
On a stamp, 200.
One of Canada's rarest stamps, the 1851 12-pence black, features a youthful portrait of her. Kendra.
Who is Queen Victoria?
That is the young Victoria, yes, and with that you move to $1,400. Stephen's off to a big lead, but you two are catching up. We'll come back with more Jeopardy in just a moment. Stick around. Jason Carpenter is a fast food worker and stand-up comedian from the Santa Rosa Valley in California, but also something of an actor. actor, a union actor, am I right?
That's correct. I joined SAG-AFTRA for playing the role every actor dreams of, a dead body. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it was going to be during a gunfight scene, so I was laying in a pool of fake blood while blanks and explosives were happening all around me. But the food was really tasty.
The glamour of show business. Stephen Webb is a data scientist from Longmont, Colorado. Now, you're married, but the proposal to your wife got a little bit derailed, right? Where were you?
Yeah, so I had this plan. We were in Tokyo, and I was going to propose in a rooftop bar in the tallest building in Tokyo, and I had everything.
If I make a dish, I can make a recipe. That makes mouths water. It makes people cook it. That makes waves, which makes me a name and makes people
Kind of lined up. Everything was very set up, and we walked around the city a bunch earlier in the day, and when we came back to the hotel to get ready, my wife reached into her pocket to get her phone and reached through the hole in the bottom of her pocket where the phone was supposed to be. And as we were getting ready to leave, she stops and goes, "Should I change all the passwords because I have all my bank accounts and stuff like that on there?" I was like, yes. So I raced up to the bar and was like, "Ixnay on the proposal A. It's not going to happen." And then
Did it indeed happen?
she came up and I told her, "Honey, I was going to propose to you, but here's what happened." And she goes, "Well, go get the ring." So we did propose there.
Suddenly the phone was the second most important. That's great. Kendra Westerhouse from Pocatello is a licensed psychologist who sometimes works with kids and has a talent they enjoy.
I do. I'm double jointed in pretty much all of my joints, so sometimes as an icebreaker, I'll show them my fingers.
And are they equal parts entertained, horrified?
Yeah, it kind of varies by kid.
Since you're a psychologist, is there a name for a phobia of double jointedness?
I am unaware.
Well, they wouldn't tell you.
No.
You'd be offended. You have control of the board, Kendra. Let's get back into the game.
Serving tea for 3 for 200.
The chirping noise of a bird, or the app where people do a lot of chirping. Jason,
What is Twitter?
right?
T for 3, 400.
If you can name another 28-letter word with 3 T's besides this church-related one, we will also accept it with absolute awe. Jason,
What is anti-disestablishmentarianism?
you got the whole thing. Good.
It's T for 3, 800.
One is said to die this way if they did not make a valid will. They're intestate. Jason?
T for 3, 1000.
From the Latin for abandoned, it means lacking food, clothing, and shelter. Jason,
What is destitute?
you are correct.
Class menagerie, 600.
The class Molluscostrica includes crabs, shrimps, and homaridae, the delicious true these. Jason,
What are lobsters?
yes.
On a stamp, 400.
The 2017 total eclipse of the sun stamp depicts a black disc that turns into this under the heat of a finger. Kendra,
What is a ring?
no. Stephen or Jason? It turns into the moon. Back to you, Jason.
On a stamp, 600.
One of the most valuable U.S. stamps is the inverted this, the female nickname of the Curtis JN4, shown upside down. Jason?
What is a blackjack?
No. JN4, it's the inverted Jenny. Jason, you select.
Landmarks for 400.
In 2022, a fire damaged some of the iconic Moai statues on this remote Pacific island. Stephen?
What's Easter Island?
Correct.
Landmarks, 1,000.
The holiest shrine in Islam is this one, located in Mecca's Great Mosque. Jason?
What is the Kaaba?
Yes.
Landmarks for 800.
Some 275 separate waterfalls form this spectacular South American landmark, whose name means great water. Kendra?
What is the Iguazu Falls?
That's correct.
Landmarks for 600.
What has the face of a man, but the body of a recumbent lion, is 240 feet long, and is carved out of limestone? This. Jason?
What is the Sphinx?
At Giza, right.
Class menagerie, 800.
It's the tallest and heaviest member of the class Aves. Jason?
What is an ostrich?
Yeah, those are the birds.
Class menagerie, 1000.
Members of the class Chondrichthyes include these flat-bodied fish that sound like winter footwear. Stephen?
What are sea skates? What are skates?
Yes, that's correct.
On a stamp for 1,000, please.
Included in a set of stamps celebrating American architecture was this Pennsylvania house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. Kendra?
What is falling water?
That's correct.
On a stamp for 800.
Final clue. The Skilled Hands for Independence series saluted wheelwrights, leather workers, blacksmiths, and this job of Betsy Ross.